wasted career. That's what many still say about Champagne Charlie. Once Britain's most exciting young player, Charlie Nicholas had the world at his feet. But the headlines told a different story. Glamour, drink driving, a custom-built Porsche on the day his ban ended. So, what went wrong with one of football's most talented yet controversial figures? Charlie Nicholas burst onto the Scottish football scene like a meteor. By age 21, while playing for Celtic, he was widely regarded as the most exciting emerging talent in British football. His performances during the 1982-83 season were nothing short of sensational. He scored almost 50 goals across all competitions, a feat that earned him both the Scottish PFA Player of the Year and the Scottish Football Writers Player of the Year awards. Celtic manager Billy McNeill described him as the most exciting young player he had ever seen. Comparisons were inevitably drawn with Celtic and Scotland legend Kenny Dalglish, setting an extraordinarily high benchmark for the young forward. The hype surrounding Nicholas was immense. He was hailed as the new George Best and touted as the most exciting player to emerge in Britain since that legendary figure. This prodigious talent naturally attracted significant interest from south of the border. Several prominent English clubs were vying for his signature, including Liverpool, Manchester United and Tottenham. In June 1983, Nicholas made the momentous decision to join Arsenal. The transfer fee was substantial, £750,000, making him the second most expensive export from the Scottish League at the time. He arrived at Highbury to huge fanfare, shouldering the immense expectation of revitalising an Arsenal side that had endured 4 seasons without silverware. Upon his arrival, he was reported to have become the highest-paid footballer in Britain. The weight of expectation placed upon Nicholas cannot be overstated. These lofty comparisons, combined with the significant transfer fee and his status as one of Britain's highest-paid players, created a crucible of pressure for a 21-year-old. His initial impact at Arsenal seemed to justify the hype. He made an impressive competitive debut on August 27, 1983, in a 2-1 league victory against Luton Town at Highbury. Just 2 days later, he netted his first goals for the club, scoring twice in a 2-1 away win against Wolves. The 1983-84 season would prove to be his most productive in an Arsenal shirt, as he scored 11 league goals and was recognised with Arsenal's Player of the Year award for 1984. However, a recurring theme is the suggestion that Nicholas's decision to join Arsenal was a significant misstep. Liverpool, in the early 1980s, were the dominant force in English and European football. The argument is that their established winning culture and style of play might have provided a more conducive environment for his talents to flourish fully. This choice, often framed as prioritising financial considerations over optimal footballing development, became a foundational element in the subsequent narrative of unfulfilled potential. The moniker Champagne, Charlie became inextricably linked with Nicholas during his time in London. It was a nickname born from his perceived lifestyle, which frequently became the subject of much tabloid speculation. Even before his move south, Nicholas had cultivated a reputation in Glasgow for being a man about town, known for larging it. His arrival in the English capital, coupled with his high earnings and profile, amplified this image. He was arguably the first 1980s player to merge showbiz with football, a trend that would become more commonplace in subsequent decades. He engaged in various advertising ventures, promoted products, and cultivated a distinctive personal style, including a haircut reportedly modelled on U2's Bono. Tabloid newspapers frequently chronicled his appearances at fashionable London nightclubs such as Tramp and Stringfellows. His social life in London was well documented, with reported relationships with model Janice Lee Burns, television presenter Suzanne Dando, and Teresa Bazar, lead singer of the pop duo Dollar. He was a regular at Mayfair establishments like Blondes, where he sometimes encountered fellow football icon George Best. At one point, his reported £2,000 a week salary and perceived glamorous lifestyle were even unfavourably linked in media reports to Arsenal's inconsistent performances. However, this public image of a carefree bon vivant stood in some contrast to Nicholas's own accounts of his early experiences in London. He later revealed that despite his affection for the city, he felt lonely in London quite a lot of the time upon his arrival. With many of his teammates settled and married, he described often staying in, drinking wine, and watching rented videos. He even recounted driving to Wolverhampton or Blackpool on weekends, journeys of considerable distance, seemingly to escape this sense of isolation. isolation, a significant off-field incident that solidified his public image and undoubtedly impacted perceptions of his professionalism was his drink-driving conviction in November 1984. While an Arsenal player, Nicholas received his second drink-driving ban within a 2-year period after admitting to driving with excess alcohol. This occurred during a period when Arsenal's team form was faltering, and troublingly, drink-driving convictions among the playing staff were reportedly accumulating. This conviction provided concrete evidence for those critical of his lifestyle. Further underscoring a perceived indulgence, one account notes that on the very day a previous 3-year drink-driving ban was lifted, Nicholas took delivery of a custom-built Porsche. The Champagne Charlie image, while partly a product of his own choices and perhaps even encouraged by his agent to maximize commercial potential, evolved into a dominant media narrative. Several factors contributed to the sense of unfulfilled potential during his pivotal years at Arsenal. A primary issue was a perceived lack of consistency. Despite possessing extravagant skills capable of mesmerizing opponents, this inconsistency limited his overall impact and influence on the team. His goal tally for Arsenal, where he only just reached double figures in league goals in each of his first 3 seasons, stands in contrast to the prolific scoring that characterized his peak at Celtic. The way he was deployed on the pitch may also have been a factor. He was often played just off the main striker, a role that some suggest may have restricted his goal-scoring opportunities. Indeed, it was noted that managers Terry Neal and his successor Don Howe never quite knew his best position. Injuries also played a part. During his first season at Arsenal, he struggled with an ongoing ankle problem that required surgery, an intervention the club was reportedly reluctant to sanction due to their need for him on the pitch. Later, under George Graham's management, a leg injury sidelined him at a crucial time. Nicholas himself offered a candid assessment, admitting that one issue was that he didn't have the pace to make it in the English game. The arrival of George Graham as Arsenal manager in 1986 marked a significant turning point. Graham, a manager renowned for his emphasis on discipline and tactical rigidity, reportedly had little patience for Nicholas's wayward air, finding him too flash and believing he was wasting his talent. Graham valued focus and discipline above the fripperies and sporadic shows of sorcery he associated with players like Nicholas. After Nicholas recovered from a leg injury, he found that Arsenal had embarked on a long, unbeaten run in his absence. He later conceded that he knew, and George knew, that Arsenal could be a better team without him. The emergence of young talents like Paul Merson from the youth team and the strategic purchase of striker Alan Smith signalled the end of Nicholas's tenure at Highbury. However, it is important to acknowledge that Nicholas did achieve moments of genuine brilliance. His Arsenal career included a moment of genuine heroism. In the 1987 League Cup final at Wembley, Nicholas scored both goals in Arsenal's 2-1 victory over Liverpool. This performance, which secured Arsenal's first trophy in 8 years, cemented his status as a club hero for many supporters. Following his retirement from playing, Charlie Nicholas transitioned into a media career, becoming a controversial voice in football punditry. He was a regular panellist on Sky Sports Soccer Saturday, alongside Phil Thompson, Matt Letizia, and Paul Merson. His tenure concluded in August 2020, when he was let go as the broadcaster sought to refresh its football coverage. Perhaps most notably, Nicholas's punditry has been characterised by sharp criticism of Celtic, the club where he first rose to prominence. He wasn't shy in sticking the boot in, often towards the club who gave him his chance as a footballer. This criticism was perceived by many Celtic supporters as going much deeper than typical objective analysis, with some describing it as akin to a personal vendetta against everything to do with the club. The story of Charlie Nicholas is one where exceptional natural talent, a flamboyant public image, off-field issues, and pivotal career choices all converged to create a complex trajectory. More so than for many other highly talented players, Nicholas's career is shadowed by what-if questions. What if he had chosen Liverpool instead of Arsenal? What if key injuries had not occurred? What if his lifestyle choices had been different? Ultimately, Charlie Nicholas's legacy is not one of straightforward triumph or simple failure, but rather a rich tapestry of brilliance, controversy, and enduring debate. It is this very complexity that ensures Charlie Nicholas remains a persistently fascinating figure in British football.